inductee is Ray Campbell, class of 1994. Greater Camp accomplishments for basketball. FAVC Player of the Year, 1994. FAVC Co-Champions, 1994. Southwest Ohio First Team, 1994. Enquirer Boys Basketball First Team All-City, 1994. Enquirer Boys Basketball Second Team All-City, 1993. Second Team All-District, 1993. AAU Ohio First Team All-State Tournament Team, 1993. AAU Basketball National Tournament Participant, 1991, 1993. And a Varsity Golf Letterman, 1993, 1994. Varsity Golf Country Letterman, 1993. Varsity Cross Country Letterman, 1993, 1994. Ray Campbell.
Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for putting this on, who was part of putting this on tonight. It's a very nice event. I'm very humbled to be here. Thank you, Tammy, for being the MC. I want to start out by first thanking my family, my wife Lauren, my daughter Olivia, my son Gavin, my youngest son Eddie, who is probably 2 hours in the sleeping right now, so he's snoozing and thinking about us, I think. I'd also like to thank my other members of my family that are here tonight, my brother Ivory, Blake, Cheryl, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and their family as well. Thank you very much for being here. I want to start out by thanking also my parents for growing up. Really, they introduced me to sports at a very young age, and that really got me involved, and I couldn't appreciate that much more than I could. My dad, at a very early age, being out tossing baseball with him, shooting hoops. The hoop in our backyard, I think he put together himself, was just a piece of plywood on a makeshift rim. It was awesome. Didn't think anything less of it. The funny story with that was it was about 8 foot tall rim. We got tall enough. We started dunking on it and breaking it. Instead of us just handing him the rim, he would make us go get it fixed down the street on the end of Ellesmere there at Welder. So we learned our lesson not to dunk on the rim at a very early age at that low. So we raised the height to 10 foot and learned our lesson real quick. My brother, he's about 6 years older than me, and he taught a lot of good lessons for me early on in my life. A typical brother relationship, very competitive. Lots of fist fights, I would say, over some stuff early on, but he taught me a tremendous amount early on in my life, and I couldn't appreciate that much more. Thank you very much. All right, so I was on a plane Wednesday starting to think about what I was going to say on my speech, and wondering what this meant for me, and realized it was more to Larry's point about those who taught me along the way, including my father and my coaches as well. So I wanted to go through some of the coaches that were my coaches growing up. Started out, I think Joe, you were my third grade coach. One of the first ever organized basketball I played with the rec. I remember playing at the boys' gym, and I hit the bottom of the track about 17 times the first game. So I learned my lesson not to shoot from that corner anymore. So you were my very first coach, and then Larry Vordameshi and Don Harris were my fourth grade coaches at Williams. Fifth grade was Dave Wright, who I don't think is here tonight. He was my fifth grade coach in basketball as well. And then Stan McCoy was in seventh grade, Chuck Prasick in eighth grade. And really when I got to high school, my first high school basketball coach was Tom Kitchen, and we learned definitely a lot from him. He was a screamer on the sidelines. He enjoyed it so much, and that's the first coach I ever had that really just showed so much enthusiasm, and it meant so much to me that he had that enthusiasm. It really reflected on our team, and Jimmy and I were on that team, and we ended up playing the QCC tournament and ended up beating Woodward in the tournament finals. The funny story behind that was, I think we played 4 games to get to the finals at Turpin High School. We played the final game on, I believe, a Sunday at noon. We got there about 11 o'clock, and got there, and the game was at noon. We practiced, we shot around. 11:45, noon comes, Woodward's not there. They played 4 games as well, mind you. 12:15, 12:30, no Woodward. So we think we got this championship locked up. Well, they had went to Norwood High School for the final game for some odd reason, so they were an hour and a half late. So by the time they got there, we were worn out because we were just horsing around for 2 straight hours. But we ended up playing an unbelievable game, and ended up beating them by a few points in the finals, and that was the first real time that I felt like, you know, we could really play on this level and really be successful. And, you know, we had a bunch of guys who just worked hard. We weren't the most talented team on that field, court that day, but we just really had a bunch of guys who put 100% effort, true Norwood effort forward, and ended up winning that. And that was the real first moment of my sports career where I said, you know, we can play with anybody. Around that time, Coach Slunsker came to me and asked me and Matt Brewington if we wanted to play AAU basketball, and never even heard of it. And so I said, oh, I'll try it out. Unfortunately for Matt Brewington, he had surgery on his knee that week, and he could not participate. So I said, I'll go and just try it out and see what happens. Turned out that was one of the best decisions that I could make, because the competition that we played against in AAU was quite unbelievable. We were playing against guys that were going to play for Ohio State, going to play for Michigan, going to play all over these places, and you know, we had 5 or 6 guys from around the area that were just nobody over 6'5". We worked hard and we competed. The funniest moment we had for AAU basketball was a tournament we played in Columbus that had 2 courts side by side, no stands. And there was a game on the other court. We were playing a good team, but there was a game on the other court that had so many people on it. We tried to play a game on our court, but there was a guy named Kevin Garnett on the other court. There were so many people watching him. There was about 6 deep on our court, so we couldn't even hardly play our game. We only had about half a court because there were so many people watching him. But again, it was just an unbelievable experience, and it was funny just sitting there. We ended up stopping our game pretty much and just watching him. So it was funny. We didn't have any idea who he was at the time, but he got all the attention. So after 9th grade, I had Joe Morgenroth, and I'd be remiss to mention Joe because he nominated me. And Joe, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But I'd also be remiss to tell you a story about Joe that we were 0-1 or 1-2, I think. Jimmy,
we lost 1 that year.
Yeah, so we
lost the first game.
We were 0-1 or 1-1 or something like that, and Joe, we came to Joe and said we're going to win every single game after this, and he laughed. We only had 7 players, I think, and a couple guys were playing varsity, so we didn't have barely had enough of practice, and Joe said, somebody said, Joe, Coach, if we win, you got to buy us beer when we're 21. We went out. I don't think Joe planned on us winning out, but actually we won every single game from that time, and Joe, we're still waiting on our keg of beer. We're all now 39, 40 years old, so. No. We had a really successful year that year too, so that was awesome. You know, we were 17, 18-1, 17-2, whatever. Did really well, and again, we got that confidence growing and growing and growing, and just kept growing from there. My junior year, played golf, Ridco. Varsity didn't play very well, to be quite honest with you. It was rough. I remember playing as a sophomore in Russ Bell. Jokingly, unbeknownst to me, I was swinging so hard at the ball. He goes, swing a little harder. And by the 3rd hole, I'm drenched in sweat. And Matt Brewington again is just laughing at me. I'm like, why are you laughing? He was like, Ray, he was joking. Slow your swing down. I'm like, that's why I'm sweating so bad. So yeah, Russ was great. Rich, you were great as well. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So my junior year, we went into the QCC. We still in the QCC still? Still in the QCC. There's 2 schools, Forest Park and Winton Woods, had just combined. They were already powerhouses as it was. We weren't picked to be very good in basketball. I think 3rd or 4th in the league. Nobody really gave us a shot. We ended up finishing 15-5 and finishing 2nd in the league. Did really well. Lost a couple games to Winton Woods. They had a team that had 2 professional football players on it. A guy that could probably win pro basketball, Darius Johnson. He ended up playing soccer professionally, I believe. They had a great team. But we were really proud of ourselves for our finish. I think it was one of the most victories for a varsity team that at least Coach Slunsker had. So we were really successful there. Really proud of that. rolled over to our senior year, and then under coach, had a little bit of adversity, had a couple guys leave the team. Really weren't, we had about I think guys playing JV that were actually ended up starting for us. I think Eric Stewart was JV at one point, ended up starting for us. Really didn't have a shot then, fought our way through, fought our way hard, and we thought we were out of it, and then I guess there was a game that was delayed or canceled because of snow that they actually had to make up. So we actually, going into our last game in Goshen, ended up realizing after the game that we had won at Goshen, that the other team that we needed to lose had lost, so we ended up in a four-way tie for first place. And we didn't have any idea. I know we were celebrating in the locker room pretty hard, and it was really exciting, really fun, and the memories that you carry from high school are just unbelievable. They're really great. Beautiful memories that we have. Jimmy, thank you for the nice note in there. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Don't make me start crying.
I know. I've known Jimmy since I've probably been 7 years old. You know, he lived on Ellesmere when I grew up, so I've known Jimmy for a lifetime. It's just it's been real. You know, he's been a great friend to me for 30 years. It's been crazy.
You're a terrible roommate.
I know. So thank you very much. I appreciate the honor. Couldn't thank everybody else again enough for putting this on. Joe for nominating me again. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much.